Has Iran's air defense campaign forced the U.S. to revisit older drone platforms, once considered retired from frontline service? The reported loss of an MQ-1 class drone has fueled debate over whether older UAVs are returning as attrition mounts. Iran's claimed shootdown has reignited questions about the U.S. drone fleet and the growing cost of operations near Iranian airspace. The incident has sparked speculation that lower-cost MQ-1 class aircraft could be taking on missions once dominated by MQ-9 Reapers. U.S. Central Command confirmed that an MQ-1 Predator drone was shot down by Iran during operations conducted between May 30th and May 31st. Amid the Iran conflict, the incident raised fresh questions about whether retired U.S. drone platforms are quietly returning to operational service. The MQ-1 Predator was officially retired from U.S. service in 2018 after supporting military operations across the Middle East for more than 2 decades. The MQ-1's reported reappearance followed significant attrition within the U.S. Air Force's MQ-9 Reaper fleet during recent regional operations. Reports indicated that as many as 51 MQ-9 Reaper drones were lost during engagements involving Iranian and Yemeni forces. Those losses have increased pressure on Washington to identify lower-cost and more expendable unmanned systems for contested environments. Role: reconnaissance and light strike unmanned aerial vehicle. Maximum speed: approximately 217 km per hour. Endurance: up to 24 hours of continuous flight. Operational ceiling: around 25,000 feet. Primary sensors: electro-optical camera, infrared sensor and laser designator. Armament: AGM-114 Hellfire precision-guided missiles. Estimated fleet acquired: roughly 268 aircraft across U.S. military service. The MQ-1 Predator was significantly cheaper to acquire and operate than the newer MQ-9 Reaper used by the U.S. military. Analysts said the aircraft could absorb losses more easily during high-risk missions in heavily contested environments such as Iran. The MQ-9 Reaper, however, flies higher, travels faster and carries a substantially more advanced sensor and surveillance package. Meanwhile, Reapers can monitor larger areas, track more targets simultaneously and transmit greater volumes of battlefield data. Former operators reportedly said Reaper imagery remained clearer and more detailed than Predator feeds at higher zoom levels. More than 100 MQ-1 airframes reportedly remained in inventory when the platform was withdrawn from active service. Many of those aircraft were transferred to long-term storage facilities in Arizona, following their retirement from operational use. Analysts said between 50 and 100 stored airframes could potentially be refurbished and returned to service if required. Predators could be assigned to higher-risk missions, while more capable Reapers are reserved for priority operations. The approach could help conserve the U.S. military's limited inventory of more advanced and expensive drone platforms. Such a strategy could also reduce the operational impact of future drone losses over Iran, Yemen, or other conflict zones. The Iranian Navy says that on June 3 it targeted the command and control systems aboard a U.S. destroyer, striking at what it describes as the ship's brain in Gulf waters. Tehran insists the strike was a direct response to what it calls aggressive U.S. measures against Iranian commercial shipping, accusing Washington of harassment at sea. This development was announced in an official statement issued by Iran's Army Public Relations Office, giving the claim the stamp of formal military approval. According to that statement, the U.S. destroyer was attempting to enter Iranian waters, a move Tehran frames as a clear violation of its sovereignty and red lines. However, U.S. Central Command has flatly denied Iran's account, rejecting the claim that any U.S. Navy destroyer was hit or successfully targeted. CENTCOM went so far as to say Iran is lying, insisting that American assets at sea are operating freely and without damage despite Tehran statements. Iran's statement said, and I quote, "A few hours ago, following aggressive actions, violations of the regulations governing the Strait of Hormuz, and hostile acts against Iranian commercial vessels in the Sea of Oman, by the terrorist and aggressive U.S. military, the Navy, immediately upon detecting and identifying. The source of those actions targeted the command and control center responsible for them." End quote. Meanwhile, eyewitnesses inside Iran reported hearing the sounds of explosions and active air defenses, according to Iran International, suggesting something significant was unfolding in the skies. Residents in eastern Tehran described the distinct thud of air defense fire and then a single, loud explosion around 8:45 p.m., sending people rushing to their windows and balconies. Similar air defense sounds were reported from Karaj and Urmia, while blasts were heard near Bojnord Airport, pointing to a wider pattern of aerial activity across multiple Iranian cities. Iran stressed that its navy is closely monitoring what it calls a criminal and aggressive enemy presence, keeping constant watch on U.S. movements in the region. The statement warns that the Navy will respond to any hostile act in the shortest possible time, signaling readiness for rapid retaliation if it feels provoked. Tehran further vowed that its forces will exact revenge in the harshest manner for the blood of the sailors of the destroyer Dina, framing its actions as avenging fallen martyrs. This latest claimed attack comes after both Tehran and Washington exchanged fire under the shadow of a fragile ceasefire, raising fears that the truce is rapidly unraveling in the Gulf. At least one person has been killed in the devastating aftermath of Iran's deadly strikes on Kuwait. Kuwaiti authorities also alleged that multiple people sustained injuries following Iran's drone attacks. With the international airport suffering significant damage, Kuwait has suspended all commercial flight operations. Airport operations in Kuwait are reportedly expected to remain halted until further notice from authorities. The airport had only reopened for normal operations on June 1st before the strikes took place. Kuwait's Ministry of Defense confirmed that Iran launched multiple hostile drones during its June 3rd attack. According to Kuwait's Ministry of Defense, Iran fired 13 ballistic missiles and 17 drones during the assault.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.